Hello, I'm Matt and welcome to Badger Workshop. So I got this EcoFlow Delta Pro a few weeks ago, and with it came these solar panels, and with those came a carrying bag which also doubles as a stand, which I think is a great idea if you want to go travelling or camping with it, but I want something a bit more permanent. My plan is to make a wooden frame out of treated 4x2s. Well, not out of them whole, because I want to keep the weight down and the costs down, so maximising the material. So my plan is to rip them in half, but first I'm going to cut them to length with the circular saw. To rip them down I'm going to use the bandsaw, so I get the piece pushed up against the blade and then the fence against that, so I'm going to cut it into a square. I can get the bandsaw and the dust extractor plugged into the EcoFlow, the AC power turned on, dust extraction hooked up, and then make the first cut. With the first bit ripped off, the remaining piece needs to be passed back through the saw, just ripping off a little slither to make it square. To join these together, I'm going to use a corner bridle joint. I get the tenon marked out with where the waste needs to be removed. This little bandsaw buddy makes it easy to set the fence for thin cuts. Now, so I don't push the workpiece into the blade too far, I'm going to set up a stop, which is just a scrap of wood clamped on. Then I can make the first cut, so just pushing it through the blade until I hit the stop, then flipping the piece around and pushing it through on the other side, and then flipping the whole workpiece around, making sure that I'm keeping it so I'm cutting on the same side. Otherwise, that'd be a bit of a disaster. The shoulders now need removing. I could have done this on the bandsaw, but because these pieces are so long, it'd be a bit unwieldy, so I just do it with a handsaw. That was the tenons done, so now onto the mortises. I get them marked out in the same way, marking where the waste needs to be removed so I don't cut the wrong bit. And then the fence just needs a small adjustment, but the stop can stay in the same position. And then it's just repeating the whole cutting process. This time, removing the waste piece was a little bit more tricky. I decided to use the bandsaw, so I got the fence removed and set up another stop. I'm not sure this bit was actually necessary, but it probably helped a little, and then I could just nibble away and clean out that waste. I had a little test fit and I was pretty happy with this, but actually some of the others weren't as good, but we just gloss over that. I carefully moved my bench out of the way, bashing it into my unit and knocking my badgers over, and then I could get the frame laid out on the floor. I get some exterior grade wood glue onto the joint and it gets pushed together. This one I'm filming was actually the worst one, so I really shouldn't have filmed that one. The others went together a bit tighter, as you can see. I get out my big square and check that everything is square. So on these panels you can see they have folds. There's 3 of them and I want to support these. So I measure the gap in the frame and now I'm going to cut down some more of this treated 4x2. I get it marked out and then get the circular saw again with a speed square to make the cuts. For some reason the audio failed here, so by the time I got around to doing these dividing bits, I'd got bored with the idea of cutting joinery, and they're just going to go in with a few screws. I wasn't really bored, I just felt this is what was necessary, and these extra pieces really strengthened up the frame. Now this is treated wood, but because I've cut it, it would need treating again. So what I'm going to do instead is paint it. I've got some of this black bitumen paint. It's great for weatherproofing, but also I think the black colour will look nicer against the solar panels, which are also black. Now I want to really weatherproof this because I'm not entirely sure where it's going to go. For the time being it's going to go against a fence, but it might go on my workshop roof in the future. So this is going to make sure that it's going to last for a few years. Now I need to attach this solar panel. I want to do it in a way that it's removable again, and removable quite easily. So what I'm going to go for is some threaded inserts and some star knobs. Both of these are at M8, so I get a drill put against it, mark out how deep the inserts need to go. Then on the solar panels, they've got grommets in the corners and along half the panels. I can mark out the centre of the grommets, flip the panel back, and then get drilled down to that tape line I've put on. The threaded inserts then just screw in with an Allen key. So I was really pleased with my star knob idea for two reasons. They're quick to remove, but also the plastic won't damage the panels in any way. So that's it done, and I think this is going to be a better solution for me. So for the time being, it's going to go against the fence, and obviously I can change the angle by just moving it in and out. And in the future, I'm going to get it on the new workshop roof when I finally get that built. So I've not only been using the EcoFlow in the workshop. When I'm not in there, I bring it in the house to power things. And I'll give you a bit of a behind the scenes view of my podcasting setup that I do with my friend Keith Brown. Can I claim that this is a carbon neutral podcast now? Maybe. So looking at this, it seems a ridiculous setup with quite a few things powered by mains plugs and a few USB cables as well. But at least now I'm secure in the knowledge that if I've got power cut, I can still record the podcast. And also, this is not costing me any money to power any of this. And I'm Matt, and welcome to the Workshop Banter podcast. I've also been using the EcoFlow to power household appliances, and I think as the year goes on and fuel prices go up even more, I'm going to be trying to do this more and more. Whatever happens, I'm going to be able to keep the lights on and wear clean pants, and I think we can all agree that is a good thing. The EcoFlow's been really great out here in the workshop, powering all my tools, no problem whatsoever. But it's also great in the house. Now I'm going to be using that even more I think in the house this winter, because it's going to save some money on energy as prices are soaring, but also it's going to give me added security. I work from home, run my business from home, so knowing that I'm always going to be able to have power and continue working is great. So the unit I have is 3600 watt, and you saw I've been using it to do my washing. That cycle took about 2 hours on 40 degrees, and that used 13% of the capacity. And of course that wasn't plugged into the solar panels at the time. So thank you to EcoFlow. Thank you for watching, thank you to my patrons, and please subscribe for more videos.